Good evening and welcome to Slam the Gavel, the show that tells it all regarding family court, other court issues, as well as CPS. I am your host, Marianne Petrie. I have two brand new guests on. I have Robert and Jaime Jolicouer. They are two parents that are living a nightmare of CPS. Starting the end of May, early June 2020, they reported a person who had been a family friend to Thomasville Police Department for inappropriate behavior with their then 16-year-old daughter and the man's own stepdaughter. They'll call him Mr. A. Naturally, they had to contact DSS Davidson County, where they were living at the time. They were questioned, given drug tests, and were told that their daughter would need to go in for an exam and questioning. Because of the relationship with the alleged perpetrator, they would not be able to accompany her at all. It would have to be the DSS caseworker, Staci Gray, or her supervisor, Kim Craver, who would take her. Nothing ever came of it. They never showed up. Now, as we move forward to September 2021, they had moved to Randolph County. After more than a year of shutdowns, schools were officially opened all the way. Their son, who was 15 at the time, had always suffered from social anxiety. But after the shutdowns, it became severe when he tried to go back to school. They made a doctor's appointment for him so they could get a referral to a psychiatrist. The doctor didn't give the referral. He wanted their son to go to Moses Cone Mental Ward for an emergency mental evaluation. Naturally, their son, who was too anxious to deal with a school environment, became very upset about the idea of going to a hospital. He went into full-blown panic mode. The parents refused to force him, and they were in the process of switching his primary care doctor through their insurance so they could get a second opinion. And the referral they had asked for in the first place, when Randolph County DSS showed up and began their nightmare. And over the last year and a half, they have gained a true understanding of just how twisted and corrupt these monsters truly are. From falsified drug tests, which they can prove, to ignoring potential pedophiles while re-traumatizing the victims. They would never believe it until they started living it. And I welcome you to the podcast. Very sorry you've had to go through this. Robert and Jaime Jolicouer, I welcome you to the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And where are you at now with all of this?
Still stuck in the same place. Our kids were separated immediately. Our son was placed in one place and our daughter's in another. Now it's 2023. Our oldest daughter is already aged out, so she couldn't even stay with our youngest. And now our youngest is on antidepressants. The place that they have our son placed in, the home is a nightmare. He's been mistreated, threatened.
Numerous times he's been threatened by a 47-year-old man who's the son of his foster mother.
Now they held a meeting with us, which we can't talk about what happened in the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
But
I do have that recorded.
But still,
mm-hmm.
I reported everything about the threats in July of 2022.
Yeah, at one of our last court appearances, it got brought up about Robbie being threatened, and the GAL and the social worker both played like they didn't know anything, and the GAL was already informed of it, and social worker had some knowledge of it, but she played off like she didn't know anything either in front of the judge. So the judge demanded to have a CTM or a CFT or whatever that is, a family meeting where you all come in with your lawyers, and Robbie was there with his GAL, and then they had the social workers, her supervisors, they had a facilitator, and a couple other people were there at this meeting. And the foster mother was on virtual,
Mhm.
and the other social worker from another county was on virtual as well. And the entire meeting was just pretty much
It was just a
predetermined.
bunch of crap. It was stuff
Mhm.
that had already been covered.
Yeah,
So
they had it predetermined in their mind what they were going to do, and they just left him in that house because and the reason is because he's doing so good in school, and to scare Robbie into not really wanting to leave, they said, well, we can't guarantee that you'll get into a better place or a worse place, or you might even be sleeping on the floor somewhere.
that's what they say in the courtroom too. And it's like,
Wow.
really? I mean, if you don't know who these people are that you're placing these kids with, why are you ripping them from their homes? Why?
Mhm.
My son, when he testified to the judge, he told him straight out he wanted to go home to mommy and daddy where he knew he felt safe and loved, and didn't even go through the judge's mind. He already had it predetermined that he wanted to keep our kids in foster care.
Well, that's also due to the fact that the the drug tests we took in Davidson County, when the woman filed the paperwork to take our kids in Randolph County, she blatantly lied and said, I tested positive for methamphetamines. I have the copy of the LabCorp drug test results and the copy that DSS handed me. It clearly says negative
Mhm.
on everything except my medications. It was blatant lies. And my lawyer was handed that proof along with the evidence from my doctor that proves that they were lying about that. And he didn't even bring it up. He said he was going to hand it to the judge during closing so that they couldn't even try to argue it. And then
You just never get
he
it.
just sat on it. He didn't say a word. I
How
mean,
The lawyers are in with it. I mean,
well,
they
yeah,
tell you to just go along with what DSS wants you to do their services, and
and then when you
get
do
your
it,
kids back.
they still take your kids. I watched this one girl at the courthouse. They took her young child, and we're talking about a baby, blonde hair, blue eyed,
Of course.
and she had spent the last year and a half doing every single thing that they told her to do. No mistakes, no screw ups, and they were still taking her child. I watched her hit her knees in the courthouse.
Oh.
They don't have any heart at all. They don't.
And the
care
lawyer
about
rolled
family.
his eyes. The man that was supposed to be representing her rolled his eyes at her.
I believe it.
Now, our case, is even more crazy because when we got handed our paperwork, we both got handed separate pieces of paper.
Mhm.
Now, we've been married 18 years at the time. We should be addressed as Mr. and Mrs. Jolicouer, not Robert on one side, Jamie on the other side.
Mhm.
Have two separate lawyers, and our paperwork, when they come for custody of our kids, had the lawyers' names on it. My wife's lawyer, she resigned from the county and went to another county in December, right?
November
December.
of 2021.
And then a month or two later, my attorney, Keith Hasselbeck, he decided he was going to leave the profession completely, and he's now computer programming.
So he says.
He's
Mm.
probably working in CPS.
But it's just
as
how
an
they do
attorney.
it. They get continuance after continuance so that they can drag it out and keep the kids even longer.
Mhm.
And they will pull. They're only allowed to postpone adjudication up to a year. And they did it like almost to the day.
It was like 3 days shy of a year that they did the adjudication.
And it's just insane how blatant it is.
Mm.
But
it hasn't, like, they make visitations for us is on their schedule. Mondays 10 to 12. We've asked it to be 11 to 1, just where we could at least get the kids McDonald's and let them have lunch and get a treat, because I'm sure they're not getting it from where they're staying.
Mhm.
our son isn't.
And they totally outright say, no, it's got to be 10 to 12 because of transportation. Well, you're the ones that moved my son 3 hours away. That's on you. I mean,
Right.
bring him closer home. They made a no contact order in the beginning of this all, so we couldn't even talk to our children.
No, but now that our oldest has been released, she talks to her siblings, and if they need something and stuff, she tells us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she doesn't need the stress. She's dealing with college and everything else, plus what they put her through while they had her.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't want to be on the podcast. She's been traumatized enough.
I understand.
I do have her permission to talk about a little bit of it, as long as I don't go into detail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no family should be put through this. And I'm so very sorry, because you have a stable home. You love your kids. These monsters just come in and destroy families.
They do.
At the time when they came in to take the kids, we were in a 3-bedroom trailer. We were just getting back on our feet from almost losing everything.
Yeah, we have been struggling for a while. Nobody stepped in to help us. It was us digging ourselves out of it.
There was a time where we spent almost up to 3 years time in hotels because we couldn't find a place. And when you're staying in a hotel, it's so hard to save up security, first month's deposit, and everything, while you're forking out $3,000 a month for the hotel.
Just the first 3 weeks in that hotel sucks out everything that you had saved.
Yeah,
every bit of it.
About $2,000 the first 3 weeks. And we finally got back on our feet. We got a break. We moved into the trailer. I remodeled the entire trailer myself. I redid all the flooring. It was a nasty trailer to begin with. Boom. After I got done doing it, it was pretty. It came out real nice.
It was an older mobile home, and it just needed a few repairs, really.
And when they came to view our trailer after they kidnapped my kids, the social worker didn't even go through the house. She stood in the living room. She didn't go into either kid's room. She didn't go into the bathroom. She didn't go in the kitchen and check the cabinets. I mean, in our dining room, I used to keep walls of soda for the kids. Like, they had Mountain Dew, Dr. Pepper, Pepsi, whatever they wanted, Gatorade, water, any selections. And they never looked at any of that.
Well, in her initial report, after she did come in to see the house, our caseworker, it actually says that the house is fine. It's perfectly fine for our family. This is after they had been taken and she came in to meet with us. So,
now, the day they came, we were just frantically on the phone with the health insurance companies, switching doctors to get providers. And on Medicaid, you have to have your doctor's name on the card before you can go see them. So now we're calling the doctor to try to get a special work in so we can get him in on Monday, because this happened on a Thursday. And we were working it out with the doctors that we could have taken them there on Monday. But Monday wasn't quick enough for them. They wanted to come and take our kids.
And in the paperwork, again, when they took the kids, it says that we were denying our son emergency medical attention. But after they took the kids and he went through the intake process with them, they stated he did not need emergency medical attention. He didn't need the hospital. I heard it from the social worker that escorted them to DSS myself. So why did they keep my kids?
They put him right into a foster home at that point.
He went into a normal foster home, no special facility, no behavioral facility, nothing. They placed him in a home.
And that gentleman had reached out to us on our cell phones because Robbie at the time wasn't eating. He was very depressed. He was crying constantly. So that foster parent reached out to us and said, yo, could you bring this kid some clothes and talk to him about trying to eat some food? Maybe we can get something going. We
couldn't go see him, but he put Robbie on the phone with us so that we could tell Robbie it was okay. And then we met the foster father at a restaurant in town, and we gave him some of Robbie's clothes,
Some
his
pictures.
PlayStation.
Yep.
And we stopped before that and got McDonald's so he could take that to Robbie. And Robbie actually ate for the first time in 3 days that night.
Mm.
And then once DSS got wind of that, it was yank out. You leaving this place, you going somewhere else.
Now, this is a kid who was having full-blown panic attacks due to his social anxiety when he went back to school. And they ripped him from his home, took him from his sisters, placed him with complete strangers, and then ripped him out of there,
put him in a group home,
drove him to the point where he actually finally did need a hospital.
Yeah,
Of course, they didn't tell the judge that. They didn't tell the judge he didn't need the hospital until they were done with him.
That's absolutely evil.
Pure unadulterated.
It gets worse. I mean, they have done some doozies.
Yeah.
I can't go into detail about
continue after continue to get to the adjudication process. There was 4 continues in a row. Not one of them asked for by us. They were all state-led continue. And they'll just they load the calendar up so much that the room is so full. You know they can't get through all these cases. And then they just pick who they want to continue. And, oh, yeah, well, Jolicouer, yeah, we know that's going to be a highly contested case. But actually, it took less than 2 hours because my attorney didn't subpoena anybody that I asked. My wife's attorney didn't subpoena anybody. They didn't have anybody testify in our defense. It was just cut and dry, blah, blah. They put up their doctor and their social worker and over and done with, and judgment.
Done. And, well, the lawyer for CPS, I gave them access to my doctor's records. And when I was on the stand, she walked up with this huge book, this file, and she started reading off drug test results that weren't legitimate at all. She had me positive for meth. She had me positive for pills. She had me positive for anything except for what I was prescribed. Now, and I sat there, I rolled my eyes at her because I'm sorry, but my doctor never would be giving me my medicine if I had that stuff in my system. And I told her in front of the judge, right there, I have my actual doctor's paperwork in my file folder. It's right there on that table. And I said it to my lawyer. He didn't even take it out and hand it to me. The judge didn't even ask to see it. Now, really?
Yeah, they don't care. They don't give you a chance.
They don't. Well, the bottom line is they already know what's going on.
That's how they're funding themselves.
The more kids in the foster program here in North Carolina,
the more money
the county gets. And it's a fact. It's legal child trafficking. And I would say there was a time when I said that the greater good was better than the negatives for it. But I know now that's bullcrap because they don't care about these kids.
No, not
they don't.
Our oldest, I didn't find out until after she was released that what they put her through when they did take her. Since Davidson County didn't take her for the exam and the questioning, Randolph County did.
Mind you, it's a year or 2 after the fact.
And it wasn't questioning, it was interrogating. They grilled her and twisted her up. And in the end, she walked out of there feeling dirty and like she had done something wrong. And then I found out all that time later, Mr. A was never even questioned. The stepdaughter was never even questioned by DSS. No one ever approached her at all, not even a school guidance counselor. And it freaked me out until I found out he was adopted and his family was actually connected with Randolph County DSS.
Both the adopted parents worked for DSS in one facet or another.
So they put my kid through hell for nothing. Nothing. They had no intention of investigating him. And the other girl that should have been questioned and talked to, just, if nothing else, I mean, this agency that's supposed to protect these kids gets wind of something like this. They should at least talk to the child and try to get some kind of, I can't think of the word, some kind of idea of what exactly is going on at home.
Well, that's exactly why they did what they did and how they did it. Because I went outside on the porch and I was the one dealing with CPS when they showed up. I videoed it from when they went to my landlord's house first and they knocked on his door. So I put on my video recorder on my phone and I have them walking up, asking questions, talk to her for a minute or two. I got that attitude that I'm better than you, like that flutter the hair and I'm going to do what I want to do anyway. And I just said to her, look, you got a few seconds to get off my property. Well, that statement, few seconds to get off my property, she turned around in court, testified under oath at the very first court appearance that I cursed her out, up and down. Did not say one curse word.
No.
Then she calls the Randolph County Sheriff's Office to have them.
He started cussing at them.
I cursed them out. I don't like cops, especially when you're getting on my property and trying to come take my kids. I'm going to fight tooth and nail.
I'm going to say
I had that whole thing videotaped as well. Now, one of the sheriffs that was there questioning my son, I'll refrain from I'll keep his name out of it because I'm going to pull him in later on in our appeal. He had made the statement that in Randolph County, they take the ones they shouldn't and they leave the ones they should. And I have that loud and clear on a recording.
He made it very clear he had no use for DSS. And so did the cops that ended up coming back to take our kids after they got the court order.
At that night. Yeah. 10:30 at night, they showed up at my house. I'm sitting there watching the football game, the Sunday night football game, I think it was.
No, Monday night.
Monday night football game. And the kids were all in bed
Thursday
preparing
night.
for their school.
It was Thursday.
And Thursday night. And this is Thursday night football too. So I was watching football. The kids were all in bed in their respective rooms. The two girls stayed in the same room. Robbie had his own room. And when they heard that bang, 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 and the flashlight shining through the glass door, I jumped up. And then I went outside to deal with it. And the officer's telling me, oh, well, we got custody paperwork for all three of your kids. You got to give them over right now. I looked the cop right in the face and I said, the only way you're getting my kids is by killing me. You'll have to kill me to take my kids. And he was like, I hope we really don't have to. And I looked squared right up on him. And I said, you will have to kill me to take my kids.
And then they didn't.
And that cop turned around and he was like, well, let's look through the paperwork and see if we could find something to use that we won't have to do it tonight and give you some time to go see a lawyer or talk to whoever you can.
Oh my gosh.
Like the cops didn't even want to help the lady.
And I'm sorry, but I mean, I know they don't always communicate like they should, but usually when it comes to stuff like that, DSS and the police departments, they go hand in hand. If one calls, the other one's right there and screw everybody else. And
I think the cops are tired.
These guys they did not like this woman. They didn't like the reason she was there. They did not want to take our kids. And they had blatantly refused to forcefully remove our children from the house that night.
When the sheriffs were there, the first time, they had asked me to bring Robbie out to the fence so that they could talk to him. And I obliged. I went inside, called his name, said, hey, Robbie, come on out. Let's go to the gate. We'll talk to these cops. And we were talking to the cops. Cops asked him a couple questions. Do you have any intentions to harm yourself? He was like, no, sir, I have no intentions. I have thoughts, but I have a girlfriend and I promised her that I would never do that. I would never harm myself that way. He was like, okay, so you have thoughts and you don't have any intentions of hurting yourself, killing yourself, jumping in front of a car. And that was what the doctor had said, was that the night before his doctor's appointment, that Robbie had said in the office he jumped in front of a car. If he would have jumped in front of a car, he would have been hit. He would have been in an ambulance going to the hospital and not to the doctor's appointment at 9 a.m. the following day.
Right.
But in court, he testifies that Robbie says this. What Robbie said was that he thought about that previous May, not September 22nd. But the doctor construed the words, and he testified to what he had on his notes. And when we tried to make that correction, nobody even budged. Even Robbie said the same thing, like, yo, it didn't happen that way. I said that back in May, that I felt that way, not in September. And still didn't care.
No, the doctor said that Robbie had tried to jump in, according to the social worker.
That's what I was just saying.
But Robbie did not try to jump in front of a car. He said he thought about it. And it was because he was so depressed, because he couldn't make himself get out every time he tried. I don't know if you've ever had a panic attack before. It's hard for him to describe it.
Don't worry.
But I know what it is because I've had them. And he was just stuck all the time. And he was in his room 24/7.
Playing his PlayStation.
Except for when he was tormenting his sisters.
Or watching football with me.
Yeah.
But he didn't, I mean, just a few days before it all went south, there was a carnival in town. Destiny was at her boyfriend's house. But our youngest Becky really wanted to go to the carnival. So we dragged Robbie out with us. And that poor kid.
He hated it because it was a big crowd, but he did it just to please his little sister.
But he stayed on the fringes of the crowd. He didn't even interact or anything the way he used to. And he needed help. He didn't need this nightmare.
No.
If anything, this has only made him much worse.
When it comes to, I can see the anger coming and the distrust for people now, stuff that he never had before.
Yeah, we didn't raise him that way. We raised him to be loving and respectful and honest. And I always told the kids, tell 100% honest truth, even if it gets yourself in trouble. No matter what, just tell the honest truth.
Because eventually, if you lie, nobody's going to believe you when you tell the truth.
So when he says something to you, he's coming from the heart and he's being 100% honest. He's not going to lie to you. And how they've done that boy is so drastically wrong. It's sickening. And as a parent to sit here and have to go through it and watch and hear him getting threatened, and then hear how the foster mother takes her son's side and belittles Robbie.
How the family talks down about him.
Or how they talk about him, that he's dirty, he's slow, retarded. My son actually, he didn't want to go to school in the beginning. He wanted to drop out freshman year. But the school that he's in now, he's doing really, really good. He's probably going to graduate either on time or a semester early. He's pulled up a GPA from the brinks of hell to, he's at a 2.2 or a 2.4 right now.
And before he was in the gutter.
He plans to have it at a 3.1 or a 3.4 before graduation.
Aww.
So he's actually trying. And we're the ones that are telling him, Robbie, try your hardest, do what you got to do, show them that you're not dumb.
Yeah,
he's always given himself such a hard time too.
He's doing really good, despite all the stuff. He's a
perfectionist.
Yes, he is. He's
like
that.
He is. And if he messes up,
he's very hard on himself.
Oh,
very.
I've one like that too. You know, there was a letter written to President Trump on June 8th of 2018, and it said about ripping kids away from their families. And it says the American Academy of Pediatrics has condemned these policies. This is about talking about ripping kids away at the border. However, they're doing it here on our
in the States.
Okay. So they're saying that highly stressful experiences like family separation can cause irreparable harm, disrupting a child's brain architecture and affecting his or her short-term and long-term health. This type of prolonged exposure to serious stress, known as toxic stress, can carry lifelong consequences for children. And this is what CPS does, and they don't care.
I may
Definitely
have to
not.
use that statement in court when we finally get there this time.
But
I'll send it to you.
Please do.
but no, they really don't care. And the thing is, what they count on is people not knowing the laws and their rights, because they do have a lot of power. They do. They have way too much power, which they are able to abuse. But the lawyers, the judges, anyone that should be there to at least inform the parents and the children of their rights, even the GALs, they don't do it.
They don't do it. They don't care.
Like, we were forbidden from the very beginning to talk about the case or anything with our children.
But yet the social workers could, and everybody else could. GAL could.
But after doing my research, I found out that kids from 11 and up in North Carolina, they have the right to know everything that is going on in the case. The GAL is supposed to provide them with a court report every single month. They haven't gotten that. Oreo reports.
There goes that cat again.
And
she's not camera shy.
They are supposed to be able to speak their mind. And they haven't been allowed to do that. As a matter of fact, if they do, suddenly the kids that have been treated like gold, they're a behavior problem.
Yep.
And if they keep trying to speak their mind, eventually they're going to be in a behavioral home. And that's how it works. You know, these kids have already been traumatized.
Traumatized enough.
And a lot of them were traumatized big time before they were taken. And these people are adding to the trauma in every single case I've seen. And as far as the case with my oldest daughter and sleazebag that we call Mr. A, and the way they just dropped the ball and ignored it, it's not the first time. It was years ago, 2013? We found out a situation involving a woman I used to go to school with. Her name was Sharon Morgan, and I'll send you the link to the news article.
Oh, you could search the name on Google; it comes up.
But no, I can't go into the detail about it. But it was something that really needed to be reported to DSS. It's the one and only time I've ever went forward with it, and I was too sick in my stomach to even make the call. He did.
I'll tell you, she was.
You can't.
No,
you can't, because it'll give too many details and people will figure out victim.
Okay.
But in the end, after making that report, nothing was done.
2 years later.
2 years later, with the same situation that I reported continuing for another entire 2 years after it had been going on for 2 years before that. They were in another county. Somebody reported this woman for something else completely. And eventually the truth came out about everything else. But the case that made the news, what she was arrested for, was reported to Randolph County DSS at least 1.5 years to 2 years before Davidson County had to step in. So
I think Randolph County might be one of the most corrupt places I've ever lived in my life.
Every lawyer that we have talked to across the state has told us Randolph County is in the top 3 most corrupt counties of
5-3. Come back whenever you want, sweetheart.
So that was our oldest daughter's
friend.
But yeah, Randolph County is in the top 3 most corrupt, according to quite a few lawyers, and that's with the nightmare from Cherokee County just a couple of years ago. So,
I come from New Jersey. I come from Hudson County, New Jersey. So I
that's
come
corruption.
from Corruptville. For me to say this is the most corrupt place I've ever lived, it's truly a horror show right now.
And
abuse of power, cops abuse that power, DSS abuse of power, lawyer don't even give a crap about you. I know we don't pay them because they're public pretenders, but at least do the minimal basic just to defend me. Call the witness, call the cop that spoke to my son. If you did that,
the paperwork that proved somebody didn't fail a drug test. I mean, come on, it's in your hand right there. Excuse me, Your Honor.
If you subpoenaed that one cop who come to my house and talked to my son and said to my son, "You're okay. I don't see you in an imminent danger. Go back inside, play your video game, go back to bed, get ready for school in the morning." And then the cop went and told the DSS worker, "Well, no, look, if you want to do anything further, you're going to have to go to the court and get a warrant and do whatever you got to do. But I'm not helping you here. The kid is fine. He's not going to kill himself. He's not in any serious emergency situation." And then she still kept going forward. She left our house at 3:00, 3:30 at that point. And the paperwork didn't get signed to a judge until 8:30 at night. If the paperwork got signed at 8:30 at night, why are you showing up at my house at 10:30 at night? Shouldn't you have been there by 8:50? 9 o'clock the latest? Not 10:30 at night, not when we're all in bed getting ready for the next day.
And the stuff she had in the paperwork, like the drug test,
lies,
and
endless lies.
It also stated that we refused to take our oldest daughter to be questioned and examined back in 2020. And that wasn't the case. We signed paperwork with Davidson County DSS. We weren't allowed to take her.
Yeah, they told us that at first they said that we could take her, we just couldn't go in the building. Then it went to, no, you can't take her, you can't even be on property, we have to take her. So we signed, okay, here you go, do what you got to do.
And they never showed up.
They never come.
And I mean, these people never showed up for anything because they were supposed to. There was supposed to be check-ins with us and all that stuff. There were appointments made repeatedly. They just didn't show up, and they would maybe call a week or two later to reschedule, and they never show up.
We had 4 or 5 different social workers in a matter of, I'm going to say 8 weeks. The guy, William, we had him 3 weeks, and then he quit. He went back to being a school teacher. Then we got the next lady. She quit. The next lady came, and she was out on disability. And then the next lady came, and it was just, she would come to the door and be like, "Just show me the kids. Okay, goodbye," and drive off. They didn't offer any help.
I mean, like, seriously, thank God we weren't horrible.
If they actually wanted to help families and help children, when we were in the hotels and you were up my butt at that point, maybe handing me a Section 8 voucher or emergency housing or hell, even a dinner, because they didn't help us with nothing.
No, the schools helped us.
Everything.
The schools helped us with sending little packages home for weekends, like little boxes of Pop-Tarts, Chef Boyardee, things that the kids could do themselves. And there was one school social worker before he retired that was
Scott. What an awesome man.
He was a lifesaver. As a matter of fact, I believe
he's a GAL in Randolph County. Wish we would get him on our case because it would be a lot easier, but they wouldn't do that.
Well, I mean, our original GAL, everything we reported to her, she says she put in her initial report, and I believe her.
It don't show up.
I believe her. She handed the stuff in, and then she was transferred off our case.
And she transferred to a new county.
And suddenly, everything that we reported to her wasn't in the office report for the GAL. Yeah. And I'm sorry, but no, that's dirty to me.
And I have her text messages and stuff where she says to me, yeah, I'm sending in my report. This is what I'm saying. This is what I think. And she said in the beginning that the best place for the kids to be was home.
And so did our caseworker, Marley. She said it in the beginning. But
going to the supervisors.
And the crazy thing is with the stuff from Davidson County, I mean, they dropped the ball big time. I'm not gonna lie, they didn't they should have taken Destiny in for that exam.
We would have complied.
To be questioned. And heck, even if we didn't comply, we signed that paperwork, which means they could force it.
Right.
So there was no reason for them not to do it. And with the way they did screw up repeatedly, I don't see them lying to Randolph County. I don't see them taking my clean drug test results and saying, oh, here, they're dirty. I don't see them saying, okay, well, these women, here's the paperwork we have where they signed the contract. These women didn't go take the girl to the doctor, but these parents refused. I don't see them digging themselves that hole. Initially, when we, when it started, the whole case, we found out that Randolph County was trying to get the copies of all the paperwork and everything for the case from Davidson County. And Davidson County wasn't giving it to them. So
they tried to subpoena the records and they wouldn't hand them over.
But they're saying they've got all this stuff from Davidson County. And yes. I mean, I'm sorry, but any lawyer should be able to get this thrown out instantly.
Right.
Instantly.
Well, funny, we my family up north, my mother and my sister, offered to pay for an attorney, and we spoke to I'm gonna say 3 or 4 that were ringers in North Carolina. They were in the top 3 for the state. And the one woman said she wanted to take the case. She called the county the next day. And when she got back to us, all of a sudden now she didn't want to take the case. And then there was another attorney who did the same. And after speaking to the county, he didn't want to take the case. So there's something going on. There's some collusion going on there.
Well, I think the bottom line is we've already heard from just about everybody we talked to. It's the top 3 most corrupt counties in the state.
Nobody wants to take a case.
Nobody wants to tangle with them. One paralegal we did talk to, and I won't give her name here because I don't want any more problems for her.
She had her own kids taken.
She was in Wake County, and she was helping somebody else fight. She was speaking out big time, and they trumped up paperwork, and they took her own children. Thank God they took the wrong children.
She got them back
in a few days.
But still, they had to go through that trial, that whole craziness to be taken and pulled away.
I mean, they literally kidnapped this woman's children to shut her mouth.
This is legal. Our kids were a little older when they got taken, so it wasn't so much crying when it happened, but you could see the deflated looks in their faces and how sad and upset they were that they were being pulled from mommy and daddy. But as I said, things were just starting to bounce back. Everything was coming back. We went from a hotel to a trailer. Now we're in a 3-bedroom brick mortar house. We're getting better. Things are getting better for us. Bring my kids home. Let them enjoy the house that we have. Let them go to the schools that they should be in with their friends.
Our son finally had a puppy, and that puppy's full grown now.
Yeah. I've kept care of all the pets for them. I promise my kids I will not let any of their pets go. Through the homelessness.
And you've met one of the cats repeatedly here.
Yeah, climbing up again. Oreo, get your buns down. You can't have my coffee. You can't have my cigarette. Go. Take a hike.
She's sweet. She really is.
The only thing that has gotten any better is the visitation. We started off at
1 hour.
1 hour every other week. Now it's 2 hours every other week. But originally, the judge had given us, not the first judge, not Judge Lanier, the second judge, Judge Wilkins, when he saw that there was no visitation paperwork put in from the first court appearance, he got highly upset, and he was like, "Oh, no, no, no. 1 hour, minimum of 1 hour per week in-person visit." DSS turned that around to, "Oh, no, because of COVID, we're doing it every other week. And the weeks that we don't have visit, we do virtual."
Well, they tried
And
to
it's
argue
been
with him,
stuck that
and
way the
he
whole
ignored
time.
it. He told them,
Mhm.
they tried to stand up the lawyer, and she tried to say, Your Honor, with the son being so far away now, it's hard to get him back here. And the judge said, well, you're the ones that moved him.
Yep. He said, "You're the ones that put him there."
And with
You
COVID,
travel.
the judge said, I really don't care.
Mm.
These parents actually want to see their kids. They're going to see their kids.
Mhm.
And there was a court order for us to be able to see our children once every week.
I have that paperwork still. I have
And
everything.
they didn't honor that court order. Our lawyers didn't do anything to make them honor that court order. And it's just bogus.
Yes.
And then when we're at our visitations with our children, they have someone in the room that actually sits there and types out every word that's said in that room.
Or they're supposed to be.
Yeah, they're
they
supposed to be,
But
but
let's not get into that because that could be used against us.
they make up stories
Yeah.
as well. I mean, they misconstrue words for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But oh my God, I can't believe how much crap there is now that I sat here and started talking about it.
Yeah, it's like a multifaceted case that should never have happened to begin with.
No.
It's like a 10-headed snake.
Yes.
You don't know which way to turn and fight.
Yeah.
You keep fighting every angle.
Now, I know your daughter has aged out, so your 15-year-old son,
he's 16 now.
He'll be 17 March 13th.
And our youngest will be 16
April 9th. So Robbie's got at worst 13 to 14 months before he ages out. And the worst horrible case for Becky would be 12, 24, 26 more months.
That is definitely not okay with me.
No, it's not okay with me. I'm never ever gonna stop fighting for my kids. They'd have to kill me.
And you better believe, I mean, and there's been talk of class action lawsuits all over the state, actually.
I'm all over the country.
Yes.
And I'm in a couple of different groups on Facebook and some other social media groups. And one of the groups is trying to get representatives in each state so we could protest across the country all on the same day. When I get that rest of that information, I'll forward that to you, and maybe you can help get it out there.
Definitely.
I know a lot of people are jumping on the class action thing. I'm not.
I don't want money. I want.
With the lawsuit comes
CPS.
signing an NDA.
I'm not signing no NDA. I want the truth to come out, and I want them to have to start from scratch and become real before the people, not for the government, and not have so much uncontrollable power. There's got to be a checks in that.
I think they just should be abolished and
completely get away with it, and then start with some new group that's actually caring about the children.
Rebuild it from the ground up, because these are the people that are supposed to, when nobody else is there for these kids in this country.
That's who's supposed to be.
That's who's supposed to step up. And the ball is getting dropped everywhere. And
instead of it being about helping the kids or making it better for the kids, it's pretty much feels like it's, let's cause these parents as much hardship as possible. Let's send them to
get all the money we can out of them.
Let's send them to parenting classes first. And that's 63 classes over a 2-month period or whatever. And you got to pay X amount of dollars. And then let's send this one to domestic violence classes, which is going to cost him almost $2,000 out of his pocket. When I can take that $2,000 and use it on my kid.
Oh, I was going to ask you about that.
Support.
Right.
Yeah, we got hit with the minute. We didn't make the court date because they told us it was on the 18th, and it actually happened on the 11th. Like, we missed a court date somewhere. But they did a default, and it's $25 per kid per month. And then they put in arrears $5 extra. So we got to pay $55 total each month for her and for me. So it's $110 total.
Which really
to our kids.
isn't that much.
But still, it's taking the money away from money that I already sent to my children to eat. My son Robbie, since September, mid-September of 22 to today, I have sent him over $1,200 on Cash App so he can feed himself. That's because the foster mother doesn't cook. She cooks one or two
more
meals.
Than
that. She cooks 1 or 2 meals a week. Stuff that he don't like, fried cabbage and just crazy foods that he is not used to, has never seen before. I cook Italian food. We do the normal burgers and hot dogs, and we don't do fried cabbage.
Well, he said
okra.
He'll eat when he's hungry.
Right.
He will. But the bottom line is, half the time,
starved himself.
And the first time we heard about him being threatened was because, what was it? He ate cereal?
Yeah, he ate a bowl of Fruity Pebbles that belonged to the 47-year-old son. And the son told him that he would show him how to box.
No, he didn't say it like that. He said, we're going to go outside and
box or something.
Box.
Yeah. Over a bowl of cereal. Now, mind you, at this time, when we were going to visitations, I was bringing well over $200 of food and drink for the kids, and it would get split at first 3 ways, and then it was getting split 2 ways between Robbie and Becky. Robbie would get what he likes, Becky would get what she likes, and they both take it home. So if they're getting that already, plus the additional money I'm sending him to eat, if this kid's eating a bowl of cereal because he's hungry, somewhere along the line, you're not feeding him, or you're not giving him what he needs. But we're neglectful.
Exactly. And the money that we do send them, it's considered gifts.
Yeah, child support told me it's considered a gift. It's not coming.
It's not us taking care of our child.
Yeah.
And we ask where the money goes when we send it into child support. Well, if they don't know, DSS divvies that up.
Yeah.
They decide how to handle it.
The county takes care of it.
So basically,
I'm just giving the county an extra $110 a month. Pretty much.
Think about the stories you hear about these gold digging females who are always taking their men to court for child support.
State's 10 times worse.
And then you see mommy all decked out in Gucci, kids decked out in Goodwill. Randolph County is that bitch. They really are.
Well said. That was very well put.
It's been hell.
I am so sorry.
19 months of it, and still counting. Won't give up. I'll fight them till I'm dead. I mean,
these are my babies.
Yeah, they're my babies, even if they're over 18. Like,
right.
She's over 18. She comes home. I say it's home, but she don't live here. But she comes here 3 or 4 times a week. She'll spend nights often. Days she's got to go to college and she needs a ride. She knows where to stay. She knows daddy will take her. She needs a ride to work. She knows daddy will take her. She knows where to come when she needs stuff.
Now, this CPS is so corrupt on top of foster care. I don't know if you've gotten a chance to talk to your oldest about how they will haunt you for the rest of her life.
She has been connected with a few other kids that have gone through it. And she knows the nightmare now. She already hated them and didn't trust them because they were caught in several lies while she was still in the group home. But and she has one friend who was placed in foster care who ended up being sexually abused by the person who was taking care of her. She got pregnant. She aged out while she was still pregnant. She gave birth to the baby. DSS comes in and takes that baby. I mean, really? this happened on your watch and you're taking her kid.
That's why I don't want any of the kids to, until this case is over and done with, don't have any children. They will be right there to try to take them.
Or at least move to another state.
Yeah, well, that is definitely being considered.
You're right.
When we get our children back, that is definitely a topic that we will all discuss. It'll be a place that we all agree on. I'm not one to say, "Oh, we're going here and that's it," but we'll discuss that
We'll
topic.
figure it out. But
North Carolina is definitely not for us after this. I've been through too much hell here.
Oh gosh.
Since I moved to North Carolina, I left New Jersey after narrowly avoiding 9/11, the terrorist attack.
Thinking about leaving the country.
And then when I moved down here, I had gotten burned 30% of my body from burning garbage with gasoline. Spent a month or two in the hospital, re-healed from that. Then I broke my spine. I had L1, L2, L3 vertebrae, so all compression fractures, and they were damaged.
And the way that happened was insane.
I got degenerative disc and bone disease in my back. Doctor said that I'd probably be in a wheelchair before I'm 55. I'm 50 now, so I'm counting my last couple of years before that chair possibly coming my way.
Hopefully
I
not.
would like to enjoy my kids before that, you know.
Right.
But not with the current situation with CPS and how it is, and I just don't ever see them giving my kids back.
And all this stresses you out as well.
Yeah, and then they the funny thing is, and all these things that they want you to do, they have it smack dab in the middle of the day, but yet they tell you have to have a job to be able to supply your kids and afford your kids. How do you want me to have a full-time job when you got my visitation Monday morning at 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock? And then on Tuesday, you want me to do domestic violence classes. And that's at like 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock.
Which you don't need.
Yeah, no, not at all. But I still got to take it because the judge said you got to take it. So I got to come out of pocket with whatever money I'm going to have to spend. I asked them to do a internet one. So it would be $400 versus $2,000. They denied, that way he could do it. They denied that. Plus, I could do it at my own speed. I would have it done in a matter of 10 days or 5 days or whatever. I would take that much time off of work and just do it straight. It's not like to get it done. Anybody sitting here trying to avoid doing it. I'll do whatever they want me to do. Just give me my kids back. I mean, when they told us to take parenting classes, we jumped on it. It took 6 months. It took 6 months for them to give us parenting classes. When they were saying from day one, you got to take parenting classes. I'm like, okay, well, tell me where to go, what to do, and how to get there, and I will gladly take my classes. It took them 6 months, January, from September, October, November, December, January. Mid-January is when we got their email, this is where you're going for classes. We started in February. And before the next court date in March, we had all 63 classes done, certificate of completion in our hands and all. So it's not like we're not going to do the work or not do it. But if you want to delay getting me there, you're just holding my kids that much longer from me. I'm not a kind of person that's going to let grass grow under my feet. I'm going to go and get what I got to get done so I can have my kids back home. That's where they belong. They belong here, home with mom and dad.
Well, I would like to have you both back on, in the future.
That would be fine with us.
Yes, definitely.
Do you have any words of advice you would like to leave us with?
Don't open your door.
If you do have to open your door, make sure you got that camera rolling.
Yeah, record everything.
Any phone calls, there are apps that you can put on your phone now
that you can record.
You can record every phone call. Every phone call with DSS needs to be recorded. And if you can't record it, then you need to be communicating through email and text.
Yep. Always keep a paper track of everything.
Because these people
they can't deny what they say.
Oh yeah, they do.
Never delete a text message from a social worker. I've gotten almost 2 years of text messages on my phone from the one that we have, and I will not delete them because I know I may need to use it in court someday.
We've got text messages going all the way back to 2020 in
Yep.
Davidson County, and you better believe we will use them.
I do not delete anything, and I keep everything.
And also, when they come and they tell you that
You have to let
they're
them know.
here for the kids and they just care, and that they're all about reunification, and
That's bullshit.
they're lying.
Right.
Even the nicest one, the one who you think you can trust and you can open up to, do not.
Yeah, that'd be your downfall.
The lawyers,
Don't trust them at all.
there are those that just don't even care and will treat you like crap and brush you off. But then there are some that are sneakier and they will placate, like mine did. He was holding the evidence in his hand that it could have got it thrown out. And I know it.
And didn't use it.
I mean, those drug test results were right there in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
Don't use a public pretend lawyer. Hire a lawyer. No matter how hard it is to find one, keep going until you find one.
And you do have rights, whether they want you to think that or not. You do have rights. And these lawyers, even if they are court appointed, they're supposed to fight for you, no one else.
They don't.
If they do not, you can file a grievance with the state bar. And that would be my biggest advice to anyone right now going through this who's dealing with a court-appointed attorney. You know what they haven't done to fight for you. Get on it. It's not that hard to file the grievance. It really isn't. And they will not be able to make it worse for you. They're not allowed to quit on you after you file that grievance. They will be told to stand up and fight for you. And if they do continue, you can file another grievance, and eventually it could lead to them losing their license. But keep a record of everything and just let everybody know involved in it that you're not a pushover and you're willing to fight. You've got to stand up for yourself and your kids, or they will walk all over you.
Oh, I've seen it done even to myself. But how can you be reached if anyone has any questions?
You could reach me on my email, which is rljolicoeur725@yahoo.com. Or you can reach me on Facebook Messenger at ROBJOLIC725.
Okay. And I will also put this in the podcast notes. So, hey, don't jump off. Slam the Gavel's a podcast to help the public understand what really goes on in these family courtrooms. I am your host, Marianne Petrie, author of Dismantling Family Court Corruption, Why Taking the Kids Was Not Enough, and Cry Out for Justice, Poems of Truth. Please join us again here with Robert and Jaime Jolicouer here in the future with updates and other exciting guests. Thank you very much for sharing this with us and your advice. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.